Hello, Joseph again. Just gonna go through the enemy base now, because I already went through the character before. Uh, kind of similar, even begin play, just gets cast a game mode, gets a wave manager, and then adds it compared to enemy left. That's because I made a wave manager to like to check on how many enemies are there, see how what rounds I also had to make, so that's also something. So we here it initializes. Um, this is from the game mode where it initializes, and then it goes straight into just gets max round, which is basically the length of the wave data, which is just here. You can set it as anything, and that's how the waves will function. I'll go through that in a second. Base, that's not what I wanted. I want base enemy. So in enemy, that's just enemies left. I'll go through that in a sec. Um, what's it? Okay, enemies left initializes here as well, which is normally done in Wave Manager. Gets the stats, so you can customize it. So designers like me can customize it easily in editor. Don't need that. I might actually change the max health to just be health and then set it in game as if it's higher. I need to check into that. And speed, which can also be set here. Then after it's finished initializing, it just straight up moves straight to the player, which is just right now is simple AI as just moving to the player, but I want to change up on this with different enemies having different like zigzag motions and different behaviors. So when it kills the enemy, it just decreases it from where we had the add-on. So enemies left is now -1. So every time a new enemy is added, it just enemies left is increased. Over here, whenever you're killed, it's just taken away. Then it just checks enemies in the wave manager, adds score in my game mode. The score is done in game mode, and then that's just to update it on UI. Uh, Checks range, cause every time I kill an enemy, there might be still be an enemy in range. So just goes back to the player and checks range again. And then obviously if it's true, faces enemy and all that. Then destroys the actor, which is simple as that over there. And then event any damage. When it takes damage, obviously damage minus health. I should move this above. Health minus damage. I mean damage minus health again. Converts it back into a float. Sets the health as that. That's so good. Sets what's it? What's it? Sets health. So sets that back in destruct. Gets in and checks if it's less than nothing equal to 0. If it isn't, then it just says ouch. But if it's dead, then it kills it and it checks range again because there was a lot of issues with that, which is very annoying. So I might not need to. No, I did not. I needed it, even though I might not need this one actually, because it checks range here anyways. But I'll add it there just in case. Um, and then it goes into here. So whenever it collides with the player, so that just kills the enemy. That's just basically what that does. I'll probably move this side over there so it makes more sense. uh, Collision every time it collides with the player, and made it so that it's colliding with the player and the thing and the capsule component only, because if it was just like this, it kept doing multiple damage, and that wasn't very fun, and I was dying very quickly. So I did that. When it's true, applies damage. How much damage? Obviously, gets it from the stats, base stat, which is I didn't go through it last time, but it's in a structure which is their base structure, which is used in the enemy and the base player. So they both have like health, damage, maximum, and speed. So it just goes through that, and then it applies the damage to that, which is just done there. So that's the enemy, and I also have a different variant, which is a fast enemy. Nothing much in its blueprint, however, but I just changed some of these stats to just see how things work. Now moving on to the wave manager, it initializes from game mode again, gets the length, which is the wave data, which I have here. Where is it gone? Enemy type, which is just does that, and if it is certain ones, I have it spawning different ones. Where is my Anyways, I just created this, which is, am I blind? Yeah, there it is. Oh my god. Yeah, which is just enemy type and then enemy amount, so how much and what type of enemies you want to spawn, obviously. So, back in the wave manager. Come on, got 5 minutes. Okay. Checks enemy, which I don't need to go through that. Even begin play, which just binds the event to respawn wave. Looked at a video for this, which I will post below as well. So spawn wave basically gets a max round, and if that's equal to that, so if it's not, so if there's still round to go, so if it's not the last round, because if it is, then it just prints a winner right now. But I'll add a winner screen, later on. Currently, it just goes into here. I had to. This is the recent. It's on test right now, but it did work. Um, so when it's the last round, I mean, so when it's not the last round, goes through here, gets the last index of wave data, and checks for the wave round, which the wave round is added each time here. So it starts off from 0, which is perfect because then it goes into here -1. No, it starts off from 1, then -1 makes it 0, which is obviously 0 1. 0 is 1 in integer form for some that whole thing. So it just loops through here, gets the actor and its range. So 1200, so around that range, it just gets the location and spawns enemies there. And depending on what the wave data says, it gets that and the wave round, breaks it up, checks what enemy is set in the wave data. So the first one is just a basic enemy and the amount. If it's more, which it's not, it's never gonna be 0. It will be like 5 maybe. If it's 5, then -1 4. It will spawn in here. But wave round is just to get which section it is. So if wave round is 0, then it'll be this one obviously, because it's 0. Then one obviously, yeah, it just goes like that. Then checks. So if it is basic enemy, spawns the basic enemy, initializes the basic enemy, which was shown on the enemy. If it's a fast enemy, spawns the fast enemy, initializes the fast enemy, which is just inherited from the base stats. When that's completed, it adds, so wave round +1. So this just instantly goes up to 2. Then when it does it, it spawns a different index, and then it updates, which is just UI purposes, that one. Before it was like this, where it just kept spawning an enemy each time, and it adds another increment to it. So every round another enemy +1 enemy gets spawned on top of how much there already was, and then it does the same jazz. But obviously I updated it so it gets the wave data and spawns it from that. And over here, nope, that was just a fake test that didn't work. I was just testing out. Yeah, that's the enemies and wave manager.